Hello, my name is Damian Russell with ERS Elite Realty Services. Welcome and thank you for tuning in to our investor series for ERS TV. Welcome YouTubers. ERS TV is a channel that is definitely client oriented, where we like to bring up programming and discussions in brief video segments to address certain issues with regard to real estate, purchasing, selling, whether it's commercial, residential. We just like to inform our clients through this ERS TV channel. And thank you for tuning in. I advise you to do so frequently, as we add content all the time. Today, this segment we're going to discuss, it's going to be part of our investor series through our investor concierge service at ERS. And we're going to discuss today the ability to leverage your income property portfolio, obtaining higher returns through multifam instead of single family SFR acquisition. So let's just jump in. I'll keep it brief, but I think it's valuable information in that a lot of investors who are call them amateurish, on the amateur side, they'll go out and look for single family homes. They want to add their portfolio, they want to buy rental property. This is what the late night TV gurus have told them time and time again. Go out and buy these properties. Some people are flipping, some people are buying dilapidated properties and then holding them in a buy and hold strategy. Buy, fix, and hold instead of buy, fix, and flip. And we'll get into that in later series, but later segments in the investor series. The reality is they all have their merit. They're all good investment strategies. The idea and the principle is to have a balanced approach to building your portfolio. My philosophy with regard to acquisition is that your portfolio should be predominantly multifam. So that's multifamily residential. These are duplexes or above. Duplexes, triplexes, fourplexes, 5 to 6, 7 unit garden rise or mid-rise garden type apartment complexes, and just building your portfolio. And here's the reason why. Right now in today's market, the way property values are, you can seriously leverage higher returns by accumulating or acquiring residential multifamily property as opposed to single family. And the reason why is FMR. Stands for fair market rent. So when you talk about the FMR, you're talking about the fair market rent value for any particular area, community, city, whatever it is, whatever the geographical area is, this is what it's referring to. So when you start talking about leveraging higher return, you start talking about, obviously you want to factor in things like the cost of funds. How much does it cost you to borrow money if you're not paying cash as an investor? Secondly, you want to look at what type of return you can get. Now, on a single family home, thanks to FMR, so let's take, I don't want to name any areas geographically, but we're in the greater Sacramento area. So let's say a 3-bedroom, 2-bath home, which is the optimum rental property, because that's what rents the most, just statistically in real estate. So let's talk about a 3-bedroom, 2-bath. If you look at the fair market rent for a 3-bedroom, 2-bath single-family home, it's not that much different. It's slightly elevated in most cases because you're paying the premium to have, personal entry, detached home, front yard, backyard, personal garage, what have you. Some of the things you might not get in a multi-fam situation. So there's a slight premium, but the difference is negligible almost when you start looking at the long-term hold of that piece of real estate. So, for example, what I'm saying is if you look at what you can collect, say you can buy a single-family home and rent that 3-bedroom, 2-bath home, keep it as a rental property, rent that out for, say, $1,000, maybe $1,050. So if you go out and you find yourself a duplex that has a 3-2 unit and then maybe a 2-1 or a 3-1 or a 2-2 or whatever, some lesser unit, if you look at what you can get on a monthly basis in terms of cash flow, gross revenue from gross rental income from that property, you're going to obviously get almost twice the rent from the multifam property than you would from the single family. But here's the key. Right now, because of the market, the way the market values are structured or situated right now, you can get that duplex for about the same dollar per foot or what have you that you can get that single family home for. So if you pay, you know, $160,000 for that 3-2 in a rental community, and it's in good condition, it's rentable, you put a tenant in, it's a 3-2, you can get a duplex right now. I'll even name Elk Grove. You can get duplexes in Elk Grove for $150, $160. So for the same dollar, you're leveraging 2 or twice the rental income. So multifam is always going to do that because the bang for the buck, what you can collect in gross rents is always, almost always, of course there's special circumstances that exist or obstacles or what have you that may exist from, you know, property to property, but on average you're going to be able to get double the money, if not more, in a triplex situation or a fourplex. You know, now you're starting to go up, but, you know, in terms of property value, but if you keep it to a duplex or a triplex comparison, you know, eggs for eggs comparison against a single family purchase, then you're almost always going to come out on top with the multifam. I always recommend, when I'm advising investors, and I've been doing that for over 20 years, throughout the Bay Area, throughout Sacramento, so I know about what I speak. And I always advise investors who are coming at me with a strategy they want to invest. They've got capital resource to do so. Maybe, you know, they're ready to get into that game, or they've heard that this is a wise thing to do in terms of building toward a retirement, having a supplemental income from the cash flow. You know, for whatever reason they're getting into real estate investment at this point, I always advise them, you know, I'm not saying stay away from single family, because you can get some nice single families, but I'm saying in terms of leveraging, then we're talking about using multifam acquisition as a tool or an investment strategy to leverage more cash flow and higher returns from your portfolio. And that factors in, again, cost of funds, because the same $160,000 that it costs to acquire that duplex and the single family home, the cost is relatively the same. Now for non-owner occupied investment property, you might be paying maybe a slightly higher interest rate. You might be having to come in with a slightly higher down payment, so the capital resource or the capital necessity up front may be higher to acquire that commercial property. I'm sorry, that multifamily residential property. But still, over the long-term hold, and I define that as 5 to 7 years or greater, that property is going to return you far greater returns, monetarily speaking, than the single-family acquisition would. So, just food for thought. Balance your portfolio, of course. You want to have a mixture, apples, oranges, bananas, pineapples. You want to mix your portfolio up, but there's got to be a predominant structure in your portfolio, and there's got to be a game plan. And you've got to factor in long-term return value. You've got to factor in many things that we do as an investor concierge service here at ERS. We do a lot of this for you. We do cash flow analysis and so forth. And we'll talk about our concierge service in great detail in a later segment in this investor series. But for now, thank you for tuning in. And as always, you know, stick around and tune back into ERS TV. Hope you've subscribed, YouTubers. Because, as I said, we add content to this channel, and it's very relevant and very informative for anyone who's looking to acquire real estate or sell real estate, life insurance. We talk about insurance in later series as well. So, but this is the investor series, so look for more programming in this investment series, and I promise you it'll be informative. Thanks again for tuning in to ERS TV.